It's the midweek edition of Business Morning. Welcome to the program. I'm Chimeze Obi Iwago. It's 1 year now since the Nigerian land borders were closed to its West African neighbors. Nigeria abruptly shut its borders with Benin Republic in August 2019. Not satisfied with the outcome, it extended the ban to the land trade with all its neighbors in October. It's 1 year now and just 4 months to the takeoff of the Africa Continental Free Trade Area. Will the border remain closed? What has been the benefits and setbacks? I'm being joined by a trade expert, Mr. John Isemede. Good morning. Thank you very much for joining us, Mr. Isemede.
Good morning. Thank you.
Now, the objective of the border closure was to curb smuggling and cross-border criminal activities. Would you say this objective has been achieved?
Thank you very much. Before we go to border closure, or border itself, let us first of all educate viewers, because there are 6 different types of borders. So to just say border, people will not understand. First and foremost, let me appeal to Mr. President. This is my second time. When the border was closed a year ago, I came up and put the position of the organized private sector that President should reconsider reopening the border. The private sector has equally lent their voice to what I've said. And this morning again, I'm appealing to Mr. President for 2 major reasons. One, we are the landlord or the host of the ECOWAS Secretariat in Abuja. From 1975 to the present day, we are talking of 45 years. Because of issues like this, we have not really gained being the landlord of the ECOWAS. And we know, if you look at ECOWAS agreement, there are so many things under the protocol of free movement and all that. ECOWAS is now moving towards what we call the custom union. And under the agreement we have signed, free trade area, common external tariff, custom union, and free market. And the free market now will now dovetail into the Africa Continental Free Trade. And if you look at, for what to now say free custom union is free trade plus CET, that is common external tariff, which we have signed into. The meeting started in Niamey in 2006, which is, it took us about 12 years before we were able to achieve that. And for us keeping the secretariat and closing the border, which some of us have benefited so much in the past because I was export manager for about 20 years. The last one is that just this week, the Continental Free Trade office was opened in Ghana. And we cannot close our border because this is a country where we have no national carrier. That is the Nigerian Airways we met. From 1979 to 1999, we had 35 aircraft. Today, we have nothing. And when the Nigerian National Shipping Line was liquidated in 1987, today we have no vessel. So the only hope we have to engage our members, to engage others in Africa, now is the land border. And if the land border is closed, whether we have signed the Africa Continental Free Trade, we have signed, whether we have not ratified, we are just like students now in the same class. We are going to take the same exam. So it is better for Mr. President to listen to the private sector and reopen the border.
All right, now, looking at what is currently going on in Ghana, we had a conversation about that yesterday, how the Ghanaian authorities are harassing Nigerian traders in Ghana. And there's a lot of speculation that what's happening in Ghana could be like a retaliatory tendency over this border closure. The Ghanaians are not happy about that.
I strongly disagree with you. I will take that. Let me, the issue of borders. If you look at border issues, there are 6 different types of borders in the world. One that we don't actually work with is what we call militarized or demilitarized borders. The old, during the war, Germany break into 2, East and West. It was in 1988 that East Germany now later joined. it was a different border like what we now have in the European Union. So because we have to restrict ourselves to ECOWAS, let's not go to South Korea and North Korea. When you say a free border, it does not mean that the border is free, like what we have in the European Union. When Britain was pulling out of the European Union, some of us were laughing because if Britain was part of the mainland, like Germany and France, it could have been a little bit difficult, even if you look at the Lisbon Agreement. A free border does not mean that there is no documentation. A man from Germany today is in Belgium, there are records. The only difference is that if I fly from here to Germany and from there to France, it now becomes a local. But if I fly from here to Ghana, and from Ghana again I want to go to Sierra Leone, from one international airport and all that, there's still ceremony if I'm not on transit. That is a free border. When you now talk of the type of border we sign into in West Africa, if you ask the head of immigration, what we have is a simple border, what we call soft border. I can wander into Benin Republic. That does not mean that I should be deported because we have agreement. Cameroon was once part of West Africa, but not part of ECOWAS. But because of the bilateral agreement, I don't need a visa into Cameroon. I don't need a visa into Chad. But a Beninois needs a visa into Chad. There was a time we were talking about single currency here. That Niger currency is different from that of Chad, but they can interchange. That is a soft border. A normal border is that I can take my passport and move to Kenya, Tanzania and all that, and get a visa at the point of entry. But when you now talk of a hard border, you talk of US, where they ask you, South Korea, South Africa, your bank account, who are you going to meet, and so on and so forth. But in West Africa, if we first of all know the type of border, we have a soft border. And some of these towns and villages are not separated by walls because these are separated by imaginary lines. Let us look at our neighbor, Benin Republic. Benin Republic and Nigeria speak the same 10 dialects together, Yoruba, Igbo, and all that. So demarcation is difficult. And from Seme border to the border in the north, around Ilol and Kamba, 770 kilometers. If you now add these two languages plus English and French, making 12. So we are still our brothers. And it is not the private sector that is designed to manage borders. If you now take it from there, because 6 states of Nigeria borders Benin Republic, and 7 borders Niger, because Kebbi State has border with Benin, so also has border with Niger Republic. Then if you look at the other side, Borno State, which is the second largest in the country, has border with Chad. No, it's not a direct border because Nigeria does not have a direct border with Chad. We have 87 kilometers of land because around Kukara to this, you have land, not straight into Lake Chad. Then from there to Bakassi area, you are talking of 1,690 kilometers. We have a coastline of 850 kilometers. Take that and compare with the border between Canada and the US, which is 8,891 kilometers. With a population of 200 million, we cannot manage our borders. I am speaking on behalf of the private sector, not that there are no issues. Have we been able to demarcate this border and put equipment and those who are found want you cannot manage? Because if you look at it from Benin Republic to Kamba, we have Seme, then we have Owode Oniri, you have Bukori in Kwara, and so on and so forth. So these are issues of border. When you now talk of the issue of Ghana, the greatest problem we have in this country is that we are not using our best 11. As a citizen of ECOWAS, I worked in Ghana for 15 years. I didn't have issues. I work in Benin. The companies I work for were all registered companies. And these things we are talking, they are not new to me. Because there was a time I engaged Dr. Agaga, who was the Minister of Trade at that time, for more than 3 months. Even Dr. Womobi was the Minister, PAMSEC Foreign Affairs. We have Indians in Ghana. We have Lebanese in Ghana and other people. Why are those people not being attacked? The way we are being attacked, I am not comfortable with it. I went to Ghana, I wrote a letter. I met who and who are to meet. And I told them, what do you want Nigerians to do? That we should register company. But on our own, what have we been able to do on our own part to protect our people. We have Indians doing businesses here. We have the Chinese coming in here with the concept of Chinatown. What I came up with is that let Nigerians, under the diaspora arrangement, 1,000 Nigerians can register company. If you go to Apapa, there are Asians operating from one room. This modern day, pursuing Nigerians out of Ghana is not the solution to the problem. You cannot separate Nigerians from Ghana. Even when we had problems during the military, when Nigeria was being pushed out of the Commonwealth, President J.J. Rowley Ghanaians stood by us. And when we are playing football in Ghana, it seems as if we are playing our brothers. How many Nigerian students you have in Ghana? How many Nigerian investors? Most of the companies in Ghana are owned by Nigerians. So the issue of Ghana pursuing us, Ghana not pursuing us, let us now come through the diaspora office, put a structure in place. We have military school training soldiers. How many Nigerian soldiers have been humiliated outside this country? We have police institute. We have customs. Who is training the Nigerian investor? That people just move out of this country under the spirit of ECOWAS. You think that if you open a kiosk, that Ghanaian, because there are certain jobs not allowed in this client. It's not in Nigeria, where a foreigner, he comes into your house, is this and that. You go to companies, people who have no resident permit. When I went to Ghana, I was asked to get a resident and a job permit. All my records were with the police and the immigration. In Benin Republic, the same thing. Despite the proximity to Benin Republic, the border was open. I was more or less staying in my house in Lagos because it's 100 kilometers from my house in Lagos to Benin. I still had the resident and job permit. So these are the things that we need to educate our people. Finally, when we are sending out ambassadors, how many career ambassadors do we send? How do they interfere with the private sector? Today we are talking of Incoterm 2020. Before, in other countries, you have ambassadors, you trade attaches. Where are the trade attaches in the Nigerian embassy? There was a time I had an Indian high commissioner who came to Nigeria. He was given a target. He was given 40 billion to make in 3 years in Nigeria. Within 2 years, he made the 4 billion. And he was recalled back home to go and take a bigger responsibility. Our ambassador, what is their role? There was a time they said our embassy was broken down in Ghana. I wanted to go and see some of my contemporaries in Ghana. How did we get to this level that our best brother has to move, put the Vienna Convention of 1961, then even the Convention of 1963, where the ambassador is the marketing manager. All those conventions are there. And now, what targets are we giving to the diaspora? So also, do we have linkages? So the spirit of ECOWAS is there. Let us not sweep that. But we claim to be giants, and we are not following the rules. But that does not mean that the average Nigerian, I can count the number of Nigerian companies in Ghana, and they are doing well. Nobody is pushing them.
Okay, let's get back to this issue of border closure. How would you assess the impact, on the Nigerian economy in the past 1 year? So and I remember that the ECOWAS had to intervene in that matter. Just wondering what the outcome
ECOWAS has to intervene, but I am not comfortable with that level of intervention. That does not mean that ECOWAS will come to Nigeria and say, do this. It's an association. It's through moral suasion. The first thing is that when the issue of border closure came up, because what I'm so worried is that between 1983 and the presidency, I've suffered border closures 5 times. And most of the people who are saying that it's good is this. They have never been to the border. We cannot use European standards and American standard on our own. I can give you all the border points based on my research in 1990. Marketing down the lane.
I wish we have that time
so we have the time.
to deal with that.
So when you now talk of border closure, some came out and said, businesses. I want to give you one example. Do you know there are more than 50,000 Nigerian students in Benin Republic? It's not that there are no schools here. What of those whose parents established? What of those working in the embassy? And what of those who are serving outside this country and it's easier for them to connect Benin Republic? That is why we have large number of students. Now work is going on. I'm yet to find out whether the Nigeria International School Benin Republic is doing work. So some who are saying that is of great benefit. CBN came up and said border closure will benefit Nigeria. There are no records to show. If the border closure has benefited Nigeria, as at the time the border was closed, it was $305 to 1 naira. Now it's 480. And CBN placed about 45 items, saying that it is what you call it, no forest allocation.
Absolutely.
And if you look at the ECOWAS convention, based on what we signed in Mali, what we signed in Benin, in Niger in 2006, there are rules that even if we are to adopt the common external tariff, they have to have 4 bands. And we argue, Nigeria being the giant, and we control about 60% of the population, and 70% of the market, there should be 5. 1 is 0%, which is primary produce and all that. So even when the border is closed, it's against the spirit of ECOWAS, because no processed good, based on the agreement we signed, are free to circulate freely. So if CBN said they went, what are the reasons they gave? Smuggling of rice. And we're consuming about 3 million metric tons of rice. We are producing about 3 million. And our consumption was 7 million. Today, what have they given to us? When they were supporting rice production, were they supporting the entire value chain? Because it takes 5 months to cultivate rice and harvest. If you now look at the first level, which is the farmer, which they have supported they supported the processors? What of the MDA responsible for destoning and all that? Then the final analysis, those who claim that the border closure has benefited them, where are the processors and those who are producing the packaging material, the polypropylene, that now say that this? So the issue of central bank and all that, it can take me a whole day. Then the second level is that of customs. In 1990, customs was moved from Ministry of Trade and Investment into finance as a revenue generation agency instead of a trade facilitator. Within this 1 year we are talking, has customs invested heavily on equipment? Because why we are crying foul is that we don't have the equipment to compete. We are talking of a single window in import and export. If you go to Europe and other places, you can identify products in our market now today from South Africa. If we now claim that Benin Republic is breaking the container, based on the picture I've painted, there's what we call littoral state. Nigeria is a littoral state. You cannot carry a container from Benin Republic into Nigeria. You cannot carry a container from Benin to Togo. Every country has what we call foreign policy. We have a foreign policy. We have a foreign policy objective.
So for you now,
do we have a foreign policy objective tied to trade?
Mr. Semede, for you now, you think it's time for the government
it's time
to open
I have
up the
come
border?
here to beg Mr. President and the National Assembly, because we host the ECOWAS Secretariat, and the major aim of ECOWAS is trade. And we have signed the Continental Free Trade. We don't even have the soft or the equipment to compete. And if we now talk of benefit, what has been the benefit of the closure? So if customs say they are benefiting, what of the export side of it? For you to say balance of trade, balance of payment, it is not one side. Have we invested heavily in Apapa port? So the last one is the MDAs, they have their responsibility. What and what? Have we invested in airline business? Are we in port modernization? Then those who came on air, why are they crying now that they want to import maize? So, Mr. President and the National Assembly, give us a second chance. Open the border.
All right, open the border. That's why we're going to leave this conversation, but we'll continue to talk about it because I think it's a huge issue there until something is done. Mr. John Isemide is a trade expert. We'll take a break now, and when we come back, we'll look at the implications of the rain cessation on food security. Just stay with us.